Hey everybody, it's TT Torrez and welcome to another episode of Artist Quarantine with my special guest, Jharrel Jerome. He is here. Hello. How are
Hey,
you?
how are you? I'm
Good.
good. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me.
Oh, no problem. I'm so excited to speak to you. I don't even know where to begin. It's so much I want to talk to you about. First of all, I just want to ask, how are you quarantining? The pandemic has been crazy, but are you safe? Are you somewhere where you're just relaxing and chilling?
Yeah, I am safe, which is good, and so I can't complain. But I've been in Los Angeles this whole time, so I've been away from family, I've been away from friends, I've been away from pretty much my whole childhood, which is a curse and a blessing. The blessing part is that I'm working and that um, I'm somewhere different, and the curse is that I miss everybody. But other than that, yeah, I've been in West Hollywood writing and working out and focusing on myself, and spending this time alone is definitely something. At first I was like, damn, it's hard to be alone, but after some time I got used to it and started to find ways to keep myself up, keep myself focused, which I think I get to carry with me for the rest of my life now.
Yeah. The thing about being from New York and going to LA is like you have to get used to A, the people because they're so different, and B, the
Yep.
food. Oh my gosh, the food is so trash compared to home, right?
there's, there's no Dominican spots out here. There's no, like, the closest I can get is like a Puerto Rican spot I know of that's pretty good. But yeah, no food from home over here. And even if you're trying to get pizza out
I
here,
was
it's
gonna
not
say
the
the
same.
pizza is
It's
trash,
not the
bro.
same.
And they
It's
always
not the
have like
same.
these signs, New York style pizza. Like, what type of style? Because it's big, it tastes nothing like New York pizza.
Yeah, it's all tomato paste and like a little bit of cheese. But I try not to complain, I try to keep a good head about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, the food, I also don't really cook like that, which I need to get better at. So
Wow.
I
So
don't
you
have, I haven't yeah, I haven't had a home cooked meal. And actually, no, my mom came. I'm lying. My mom came to visit like 2 weeks ago, and she cooked for me every night. So I was like, yes. But
yeah.
before that, it's been a while.
I heard you
Yeah,
and your mom are like
but
extremely tight.
my best friend. Yeah, that's my best friend. She's cool. She had me at a very young age, so we grew up. We grew up together. While I was growing up, she was growing up still. So we had a lot of. I feel like in most cases, a kid and a mom or have this separation because of the age difference and because of just coming up in different generations, different ideals and mindsets. But me and my mom, we're like twins when it comes to how we think, when it comes to how we feel about situations. She stays texting more than I do, so she's
Mhm.
young and vibrant. So the conversations I've had with her growing up, I think, are very different from your average conversations with your mom. I told her everything, like everything.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's
So
important to have that relationship and bond and trust too, because as you're growing, particularly in this business, you need someone that you can go to and that you could um, rely on to tell you the truth about yourself and just have that positive energy around you.
yeah, most definitely. I mean, mama know best, and that's the truth. And I've learned that, especially just being thrown into this world and being thrown into this huge pool of attention and people and expectations. That's the one person I could turn to and look at and be like, you don't expect anything, right?
Right.
She'll look at me like, no, you do what you got to do.
Yeah,
So,
because your success, I mean, I know you did Moonlight, was that 2016, right? And
yep.
and
Yes, ma'am.
that was an Academy what Oscar award winning movie.
Yes, ma'am.
And but you had that role before When They See Us, right? And
Mhm.
but that role was like your breakout role. Would you agree?
Yes, yeah, 100%. I think they were both breakouts in a way, but When They See Us was like the real breakout. Moonlight was the breakout to get me to When They See Us. When They See Us was the breakout to get me to you and the
Right,
rest
right.
of
The
the
rest
world.
it exposed you to the rest of the world. And to some, it may seem like, okay, this happened overnight, but you actually went to LaGuardia School of the Arts. You
Mhm.
went to Ithaca, was it Ithaca College,
You
and
got it.
you got that role while you were in college. So it was like steps for you.
It was steps. It does still feel like it was overnight because, you know, when you're 16, you don't dream that by the time you're 21, you're going to win an Emmy. But it was steps for me. It was major steps for me. And it was a process of learning it, believing in myself, being good at it, and then turning it into something bigger than who I am. So for me, it was like steps mixed with spoiled blessings, you know,
Mhm.
because
Or luck, or pure luck, right?
yeah, pure luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe that we make our own luck. But
Yeah. I believe that
yes, yes,
the
yes.
universe, you believe it first, and then the universe, and if you believe in God, which I do, he
Yeah,
orchestrates the perfect situation for you. But I
absolutely.
think what impressed me so much about you is just the discipline that it takes as a 16-year-old to take your craft seriously and to actually perfect it. Because growing up in the Bronx, I'm from the Bronx, you're from the Bronx, there are so many distractions, and
Mm,
it can take you away from the discipline that it takes to reach this type of success.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think where it came from me was that it was a very young age for me where I realized that I wanted to step outside the Bronx and leave my zone school, which is what I think a lot of people from the Bronx don't realize that they can do, is that there's options outside of the city that are free for you to go travel to and learn something new. And so for me, that was LaGuardia. That was a performing arts school, although it was a hard audition process. And I'm so grateful that I got in. I still realized that I can leave my area, take a train to 59th Street, then take the one to 66, go to some school with a ton of kids from Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens and Staten Island, then go travel back to the Bronx at night. And that's how I was doing it for 4 years of my high school career. So I think high school is a time where we find ourselves and we find who we truly want to be. So I was finding myself in LaGuardia, not,
Mhm.
you know, on the steps of my building or
Yeah,
in the hood or at my local park. I was finding it in a school with all these other kids with money,
creative minds, and yeah,
mind and money and inspiration. Like, you know, these kids were inspired to be somebody because they came from parents who got to be somebody, you
yeah.
know?
So,
So
what was it? What was that defining moment for you? Because, you grew up, your mother was incredibly young, like you said, you grew up in the Bronx, but there was something in you, something in your spirit and in your soul that saw yourself bigger than being this kid from the Bronx. What was that for you that just said, this is what I want to do? Because to get up, to be to school by a certain time, to
mm,
to travel an hour away to get
mm,
to school every day, that requires real passion.
wow, yeah. Thank you for saying that. Because during the time of getting on the train and going to school, you know, I was complaining.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time. There was a lot of things that I had to push past to get to where I am today, and a lot of that came from myself and some insecurities. Where I was in a classroom where everyone around me, three of the kids had already been on Broadway. Everyone around me knew how to sing. I didn't know how to sing. I didn't even know what acting was. So thank you for saying that. I definitely took a lot of pushing through, and I think where that came from was my family. You know, I think most Bronx families, especially, are hustling families whose goal isn't even love. The goal isn't love. The goal isn't uh, being rich. The goal isn't driving nice cars. The goal is family and keeping family alive. That's the goal in the Bronx, is to keep your family alive. It's the goal in New York, and I think it's the goal for a lot of honest families. It's like, screw the money, screw all this. It's my daughter, it's my son, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's whoever it is that I got to take care of. And I
Yeah.
think
It's that hustle. It's that hustle
yeah,
spirit.
that hustle, but it's a certain type of hustle. It's not a selfish hustle. It's a selfless hustle. It's a hustle that's for not you, for the people around you. So for me, I grew up in a household of 10 people. Like I grew up with my grandma, my grandpa, my two cousins, my aunt, my uncle, my mom, my dad, and my little sister, all in one house,
Wow.
all in one place. So I got to see all different kinds of generations. I saw different dynamics. I saw different mindsets. I saw who believed in what. I saw who disagreed with what. I saw who worked their whole life for this and for that. Seeing that in 9 different ways, all the way from my young sister to my grandfather, it taught me all these different tools that I got to take with me. And I think the main tool is just, like I said, for family. So every time I felt like I was giving up, I thought about my mom. I thought about my grandfather. I thought about my little sister. I thought about my cousins. Every time I gave up, I thought about the face that I'd have to put on their face after I tell them, listen,
I'm not gonna do this anymore. And you gotta walk through that door, and then they all gonna get in your ass and say, what are you doing?
you
This,
doing?
are you crazy? You throwing your life away, you wanna be in
Yep,
the streets, like
yep.
use your
And
brain.
exactly. For one thing, I'm here to impress them more than I'm here to impress anybody else.
Yeah,
I'm here
yeah,
to make sure they go, oh yeah, that was my little cousin. Oh, that's my son. Or that's
yeah,
my
yeah.
grandson. You know?
So I'm not surprised that you're venturing into now your music career, because you have a passion for music as much as you do for acting. And of course, growing up in the Bronx is a melting pot. Hip
Yes.
hop is the mecca in the Bronx. And
Yes.
so now you have this single out now, and I follow you on Instagram, and you
I got
shot the video. Yeah, you gotta follow me back, bro.
you back. I got you.
So it's called is it For Real, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yep.
you shot the video, and the
Mhm.
video, it looks like it's directed like a movie. Like
Yeah.
the director just went straight into your head and captured everything you wanted it to be.
Mhm. Yep, that was the goal. If I'm gonna do a music video, I want to make it a movie. I'm glad you saw it that way, because it took me a while to figure out how we wanted to come out with the first song, what the first song was going to be. And I think this one just felt so right. It felt so real and honest. And it's one of those songs that's talking about the reason I'm stay away from social media and why I fear social media. And I think that's the biggest topic of discussion when it comes to me. Like I stay away from controversy. I stay away from any problems. I keep my opinions to myself, but there's still times where fans want to pick problems out and want to like find, hey, well, what's wrong with you? And
They
so
want to know more about you. They want to enter into your world, and it's a balancing act, right?
it
And
is. It is.
you got to figure out how much you want to give and how much you want to keep private. Um,
Exactly.
I think the only person who has mastered that in my eyes is Beyonce. Like
Mm,
Beyonce
mm.
gives you just enough to wet your whistle, and then she pulls it back.
You can't. Yeah, you don't know anything else.
You don't know
Right.
anything else, but that's what makes her so unique and special, because she still has this mystery around
Mm.
her. But
Mystery.
she has the babies, and she's married, and she has her husband, and occasionally you see her throw something up there that gives you a glimmer of inside of her world.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's actually a perfect example. And I wonder how much hard work that's taken her.
Oh, I'm a lot, right?
Mental steam she's run out of just trying to keep that a thing, where she lives, and she can't go to the grocery store. She can't
Oh,
go,
dude. So
all the
I
little
was in
things.
the Hamptons this past summer, and they were right next to where I was at. And when I
Wow.
would go running every morning, I would see the paparazzi trying to capture pictures in these weird places, or camping out, or in between the trees. It's like it's a lot.
I've seen that too before. I was around Kim Kardashian one time, and I saw the same situation where it was just paparazzi, 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 and it put things into perspective for me. Like, do I want that? Because I've dreamed of success, but I didn't dream of fame growing up. That's the thing about me. I dreamed of being an actor. I've dreamed of like making money and being a movie star, but for some reason, I never saw the lights and cameras and all the people that followed it. I just saw me on the screen. I just saw me acting. I forgot about the part where over time, maybe, you're walking out your house and there's 60 people deep trying to take pictures of you. And so that puts things into perspective as to, do I want that? But I don't think you can control that,
You can't control that, but you know what that tells me is that you care about the craft more than you care about the fame. And
Yeah.
I think that's what keeps you grounded and keeps you in this game for the long haul, because
Hmm.
the fame will have you lose your mind because you're constantly chasing it. But when
Hmm.
you have a true love for the craft, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter as long as you're acting, as long as you're singing, as long as you're rapping. It doesn't matter if it's sold out in every movie theater and it's number one on the box office, or your album is #1 on the charts. It doesn't matter as long as you're acting, as long as you're creating, as long as you're being artistic. That's what will fill your soul.
And
And
doing
you know,
love.
yeah, you do it for the organic love, and of course you want the money, and the
Yeah,
living
that
from
comes
it.
with it.
But
Mhm.
I've seen successful actors do it. Like Denzel is a perfect example for being in a business as long as he has, and the
Mhm.
longevity that he has had in this business.
You
And
just you just said my favorite word. I've said that in past interviews, but longevity is my favorite word, and that's my focus with my career is longevity. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I can't imagine after you won your Emmy for When They See Us, how that just catapulted you in the limelight, into the cameras, into this whole new world. And of course, everybody's ringing your line, and here's
Yeah.
the script, or here's this, here's that, or like, how do you mentally digest all of that at such a young age?
I don't. I just I stay numb and I just accept it. And but just like you said about the conversation of longevity, I'm here for the love of the craft, which means I'm here for the challenge. I think anybody who loves something loves when it challenges them, you know? So I am here to be challenged. I'm here to do work that proves to you and to myself that I'm an artist and that I'm someone who dives deep for a role and someone who dives deep into a project. So that being said, I have gotten a lot of phone calls. My team and I have been picking up, putting it down, picking up, putting it down, and we're putting it down quick because it's a lot of you don't find When They See Us as often. You don't find Moonlights often. You don't find work that challenges an actor, specifically a young black actor or a young black actress. You don't find roles like Queen and Slim that give them the chance to really dive
Into
and
those characters.
exactly. So I'm waiting for the next one, and if that takes some time, it takes some time.
But the incredible beauty in all of this is that you have these very I wouldn't even say challenging. You have these very artistic roles that required you to really dig in into
Mm,
the root of these roles at such an incredible age in your life, because it proves that you can do the work. Like,
mm,
it proves that you have the discipline enough to actually do the work that it requires to be able to push that role to the screen. And as a fan watching it, and someone who's a fan of the art, period, I knew how hard it really took for you to do that. Because
mm.
first of all, I couldn't even watch it in one setting. I had to come off of it, come back to it, come off of it, and come back to it. And I think it's the same thing with music, because I work in the studio with a lot of incredible, talented artists, and I A&R a lot of projects. And I always tell the artists, come back to it.
Mm.
Put a line here, put a hook here, do the arrangements here, write the verse here, come back to it.
I
And
just recently learned that idea. Yeah.
yeah, it's the same exact thing. It's just you're now flipping it into the lyrics, into the arrangements, into the harmonies and the vocals.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. It's cool because I think as artists, especially recording artists, we're most of us I feel like are perfectionists and we just want to get that thing done, get it perfect, get it right so we can get to the next one. But that was a very good tool I learned within the past few weeks of recording where it's okay to put something down, leave it, come back to it. Put
yeah,
something down, leave it, come back to it. Yeah.
yeah, even the wordplay. You might come up with a cool wordplay, and then
Hmm.
you might not like it a week later. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always love to see actors go from acting to putting out music. I feel it's a lot easier to put music out first, then
Mhm.
to double back to acting.
Yeah.
But I see someone like Rotimi, who I'm really close to, and he's just like you. He went to a performing arts school. He got his big break with Power, but he's been acting his whole career. But music was always his first love and passion.
Right.
And I used to tell him, your music time will come. And then
Mhm.
he had this explosive record this past summer when he put out his mixtape, and with the In My Bed single, and it's doing really, really well. And it can be done.
That's good to hear. That's good to know too. And I think we're at a time where it definitely can be done. I think there's no limit to artistry. now. I feel like back then, Hollywood in the old days, you had to be one thing and you had to ride that wave. Today, I think there's a good chance for artists to be, dipping their toes in different things, even if it's not art, like seeing what Jay-Z's done for himself and seeing Jay-Z become a billionaire. And then you think about it, he's not a billionaire because of any of the songs he's done. He's a billionaire because of all the outlets that he's decided to open up for himself. So that's really cool that you said that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's about creating multiple streams of income and then mastering each one and
Mm-hmm.
and being able to give the time and dedication and delegating responsibility to people that you trust in order to bring your visions to light. Um,
Absolutely.
so, I'm excited for your music. You have to play me more. Are you coming out with an EP first? Are you coming out? What we doing? What we doing?
I'm coming. I'm just trying to get respect right now. So even if that takes 2, 3 more songs, 5, 6 more songs, an EP, I don't know what it is. I'm just here for the respect, and so uh, I'm just going with the flow. I
Okay.
think the next thing you'll see from me is another song, and then hopefully you'll hear that and be like, "All right, come on, give us an EP. This is cool." You
This
know?
is cool. So
Yeah.
you got to tell me your dream collaboration you want to work with.
Oh man. Uh, it'd be a big song. It'd be a 45-minute song with every art with all those artists on it. I would love to do a 45-minute song. If I narrow it down though, like if I just think right away, Cole. I
Cool,
just
J. Cole.
yeah. Nobody does a feature with J. Cole, but I want him to love me enough for him to be like, I'll give this kid a feature.
Yeah. And he said he's not doing no more features
He
after
said
the last
that.
one.
He said it. He said it. I'm a little kid. Look,
So you said you was a child looking at him like, what?
like you better wait for me, Cole. Look, like J. Cole is he's probably today my favorite rapper. He's inspired me so much. Aside from the music, just the way he carries himself as a human being, as a family man, as a person
Yeah.
who stays on his stuff. Like that's the king.
And he's so down to earth. My favorite, I tell this story all the time. So I'm going to the radio station one day before the pandemic. Our studio is on Hudson Street downtown in New York, right? So I'm on my phone, not paying attention. J. Cole is riding his bike and almost hits me with his bike.
Oh,
So he's like, excuse me. And then I look up and it's J. Cole. And I'm like, oh shit. Hi, J. Cole. Like I was like stuck for a minute. I'm like, if anybody could hit me with their bicycle, it's you.
That's crazy. I'll take that story. I wish it was me. I almost got ran over by the bike.
It was so funny because he had like his hair was out and he didn't look like but just a regular person.
And that's me. I didn't think that you could be such a big rapper and be able to do that. That you could be such a mainstream rapper who everybody looks up to, and you could still rock the dirty sneakers with the crazy hair, with the whatever shirt wherever you go. Because I'm about to follow that path like crazy. I'm too lazy to go out and do that and try to do myself up, even for this. So like,
Well, listen, I see a bright future for you, and congratulations on your music, and congratulations on your film and your art and whatever else you have coming out next. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview, and you always have a home here at Hot 97 when you want to come back.
Thank you, TT. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you. Everybody, it's Jharrel Jerome. He is here, and you have been watching another episode of Artist Quarantine on Hot 97.